In this video, we will talk about social media addiction. Let's first give a brief introduction. Today, we are living in the science age. Scientific data is constantly renewing itself and new ones are added. The doors of a new world were opened with the use of computers in daily life and the discovery of the internet. The internet has been used in every field of life. It provided a lot of convenience in the media, entertainment, and academic fields. People like to facilitate the access to information, namely through Facebook, Instagram, Wikipedia, Twitter, and YouTube. These social media platforms allow people to communicate with one another. We've already spoken so much about it, but what is social media? Social media is a media system that provides access from one-way information sharing to two-sided and simultaneous information sharing, with the introduction of Web 2.0 to the service of users. They are web pages where people communicate with each other and exchange information. We've all heard of the term addiction, but what is social media addiction? Social media addiction is overuse, inability to satisfy the desire to use, neglect of activities due to excessive use, damage to social relations by excessive use, using as a means of escape from negative emotions and life stress, experiencing problems in reducing and stopping use, being nervous and irritable when use is not possible, and using the state of lying about the duration and amount of it. That is a mouthful. Social media addiction is seen as a psychological problem just like other types of addiction. Social media addicts suffer from many harmful issues such as alcohol, substance abuse, gambling, and game addiction. Alright then, how do you know if you are a social media addict? To learn it, ask yourself these questions. Does it interfere with your daily work and activities? Are you unsuccessful in transitioning to bilateral relations? Do you feel restless and worried every time you check your accounts? Does it affect your studying? Do you think virtual situations are real? Does the lack of perception cause distraction? Do you sense disorder in certain bodily functions that were not present previously, such as panic attacks, stress, and anger? These signs show that you have reached a certain degree of addiction. One of the biggest dangers of social media is being in a constant state of racing. People always try to gain likes and followers by sharing a photo or a word to make someone like them. This leads to competition among people on social media platforms. Individuals can sometimes harm their health by trying to do irrational things on social media in order to become a phenomenon. If one fails to become a phenomenon, tendencies such as psychological blues and depression are observed. The Quran guides us in this regard with the 13th verse of Surah Al-Hujurat. O humanity, indeed we created you from a male and a female, and made you into peoples and tribes so that you may get to know one another. Surely the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous among you. Allah is truly all-knowing, all-aware. Again in another hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells his angels and Gabriel that he loves his servant as much as he loves. Angels create the atmosphere for that person to be loved. Why do we prefer social media? Why do we use it? Most young people face problems in regards to fear of rejection, mockery, self-expression, and face-to-face communication. These emotions are sometimes due to lack of self-confidence and sometimes due to peer bullying. Therefore, being anonymous in social media, being able to hide one's identity, gives that person self-confidence. Therefore, most of the young people communicate with their friends through social media. They are in contact with many people through their social media accounts. Alright, so social media is a form of connection. But is this connection healthy connection? Don't use social media as a distraction for your thoughts. Sometimes social media is used as a coping mechanism to avoid dealing with an uncomfortable emotion. The problem is that social media can make this situation worse rather than better. Instead, contact a friend in person. Virtual chat or conversation does not give the feeling of relaxation that the real one gives. By leaving the place you are in, you become distant physically and spiritually. So, how do we eliminate social media addiction? Disable notifications from all social media apps. Only share the posts that are meaningful, timeless, and essential. At night time, put the electronic device in another room and do not check any electronics during the night, starting from an hour before going to bed. Don't start your new day with social media. Mute the phones when going out with others. Reduce the number of social media apps you have. Do not check social media while eating. Social media accounts and the time that is spent with them are a waste of time if they do not have any benefit to you. The religion of Islam does not want people to use their time for empty and useless works. In the 3rd verse of the Surah Al-Mu'minun, Allah warns His servants, and those who avoid idle talk and useless things. Our Prophet, peace be upon him, described staying away from vain and useless works, which is one of the morals of Muslims, as follows. Abandoning vain and useless works is one of the good morals of a Muslim. Alright then, can we use social media in a good and useful way? Sure. In social media there are many useful accounts related to communication, art, culture, or the profession that we need. By choosing the accounts we follow, we can make our life better by allocating a certain time period. We can make new friendships by meeting face to face with the people we follow on social media. We may even have new friendships from the virtual world to real life. By organizing various activities with those people, we may have a real friendship rather than a virtual one. Or we can use social media to learn a new language. We should use social media not to waste our time, but to beautify our time and make it valuable. But most importantly, please spare a certain period of time for social media and do not spend more than that specified time. Visit the places that you see in the virtual world. Go and visit museums. Don't live virtually, live in the reality.